Hello and welcome to day 9 of our 12 Days of Christmas cards. Today we're going to pull a few pieces from the Complete Creativity collection, the poinsettia and the greenery there. And what I've done is I've put this together, again, the poinsettia and greenery and this deer buck silhouette from the Artistry collection. I'm going to use my Build-A-Plaid stamp set and we're going to make another buffalo plaid background. I did this same technique on day 5, but I love the buffalo plaid so much I decided to make another Christmas card with that background. So I'm just using my black pigment ink and I've taped the cardstock down using Post-it tape to my Versamat, and this makes it really easy because you can count the squares. And I'm pushing really hard because I don't have a foam mat behind it because I wanted to be able to see the squares. So now I'm going to rotate my cardstock and then stamp it in the opposite direction. I did have a few questions as to whether or not this stained the Versamat, and with the black ink it doesn't. It comes right off with a baby wipe. There are some inks that do stain more than others, like some of the red colors. So I thought it would be a good idea, if you're concerned, you can take the top of your Cricut mat and lay that over so you can still see the grid and then have a wipeable surface. So I'm going to adhere my buffalo plaid background to a piece of craft cardstock. And I decided to ink the edges before I tack that down. I think it'll just kind of finish it off nicely and hide any white that might be peeking out from the core of that cardstock. This is the candy apple red, and then again the craft cardstock. Now I've made a A2 size card from black cardstock, and it opens up kind of vertically there. So now I'm going to use my medium stitched rectangle and just adhere that kind of to the center of the card there. And this will kind of provide the backdrop for my deer silhouette and all my poinsettias. So as you can see, I cut 3 of them in the candy apple red and then 3 of them in the craft cardstock. And to help these stand out just a little more, I'm using my black shimmer brush to just barely kind of ink the edges there. This gets in the kind of the crevices really well with that brush tip. I'm also going to apply clear shimmer brush to the red poinsettias just to give them a really shiny, sparkly finish. These will be the top layer of my flowers, and the craft colored die cuts will be the bottom layer of the poinsettia flower. I'm going to use the Tombow liquid adhesive just to tack the deer silhouette down onto the upper portion of my rectangle, and I did cut that in the vanilla cardstock. So now I will place my poinsettias together, kind of offsetting them just a little bit, so the craft shows out from behind the candy apple red. And I wanted to make them kind of the craft color on the background so that it shows up better against that plaid red cardstock in the back. And now I'm just trimming my little foliage sprigs in half, and I'm going to tuck them around the edge of the poinsettias, just kind of fanning out. I could have easily cut more of these on my Cricut, but since the majority of them were hiding behind the poinsettias, I decided to just cut them in half and stretch them a little further. So now we're ready for our sentiment. This is from the Traditional Holiday stamp set, and it says Warm Wishes, and I really like it because it's on kind of a scroll banner, and I don't know, it just looks really neat. And this stamp set is a promotion with the holiday cheer, and that's where you can make ornaments and gift tags, and there's 2 different stamp sets available with that promotion. It is only offered for the month of November while supplies last, so I'll leave a link in the description and you can check that out and see if you want to add any of those fun products to your collection. I'm tacking the poinsettias on the right and left down directly to the vanilla rectangle there, and then I will go ahead and apply my sentiment there after I peel off the foam tape, and just like so. And now my third poinsettia I will also pop up on dimensional adhesive so that it will kind of sit above the other two and just barely overlap our sentiment like so. So now I'm going to use my liquid glass with my fine tip applicator to tuck these little greenery sprigs around the poinsettia cluster there, and I'm just gluing, the part that goes under the flowers. You don't need to tack the entire thing down. Sometimes they'll kind of lift up just a little bit, and I think that looks really nice. They are very tiny, but they add a lot of detail to our card. I should mention that I did cut these out in the New England Ivy cardstock on the dark side of the paper. You could also do some in the dark and some in the light, and that would even be fun and add some more contrast. So I'm just using my scissors to lift that up a little bit so I can tuck that under. And now we're going to dress up the center of our poinsettias. I have the gold sequins here, and I'm using my micro glue dots to tack 3 of them down in the center of each of my poinsettias. I like the glue dots best for adhering sequins. It has a little flex to it. When you use the glue, it works well, but I don't know, they're very rigid and sometimes they can pop off there when the glue dries. So definitely use the micro glue dots for tacking those down. Now, since the inside of our card is black, that would be difficult to journal on. So I'm using our large stitched rectangle, and I just cut that out, and I'll adhere this to the inside of our card. And I thought it would look really pretty to repeat our poinsettia look down in the lower left hand corner. So we'll glue this down to our card, and then again put the sequins in the center, and then I have just a few little of the New England Ivy greenery sprigs that I'll just put on either side there, and that'll finish off the inside of our card quite nicely, and this will give them a place to write their sentiment on the inside of the card. Okay, so here is our finished project, and I hope this card inspired you guys to go ahead and give it a try yourself. I love the way all these elements work together to give it this really cool kind of rustic Christmas vibe. I like the shimmery poinsettias, and the gold sequins really make this card pop, and I, of course, love that red buffalo plaid. I think anybody would be happy to receive this card. I know I would. It would look great with my Christmas decor sitting up on my mantle on display. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing so you don't miss what's coming next week. We have one more week of our 12 Days of Christmas card series, and I'll be posting on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So be sure to tune in for those projects. You won't want to miss them. For more information, you can visit my blog at craftyconceptswitherin.com. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Here's another video you might enjoy, and I'll see you next time.